The ambulance was called, but it would take 12 minutes to arrive. Mark had no pulse, wasn't breathing. While other gym members panicked, Marcus Webb stayed calm. And what he did during those next 12 minutes was something everyone there would never forget. Professional medical intervention, perfect CPR technique, every command precise. He brought Mark back. But how? Marcus was just a gym owner. Welcome to Veteran Stories. Before we begin this powerful story of hidden medical expertise, life-saving skills, and the veterans who serve as our silent guardians in civilian life, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, hit that subscribe button. Some heroes don't wear scrubs, they wear workout clothes. Iron Will Jim sat in a strip mall in suburban Phoenix, Arizona, sandwiched between a pizza place and a dry cleaner. It wasn't fancy, no premium equipment, no trendy classes, just solid workout machines and the kind of atmosphere where serious fitness enthusiasts felt at home. Marcus Webb had owned the gym for 8 years. At 48, he was in excellent shape, approachable, and genuinely cared about his members' fitness goals. People liked him immediately. He remembered everyone's names, asked about their families, and provided encouragement without being pushy. The gym attracted a loyal clientele: working professionals, retirees, a few college students, and regulars who'd been coming since Marcus first opened. It was a kind of place where people felt comfortable, where newcomers were welcomed, and where Marcus created a sense of community around fitness and health. Nothing about Marcus's demeanor or the gym's atmosphere suggested military service. No flags, no military memorabilia, no hint of his background. He was just a friendly business owner who happened to run a very successful fitness center. Mark Thompson was 52, a middle manager at a local insurance company who'd been coming to Iron Will for 3 years. He typically arrived at 6:30 a.m., did 30 minutes on the treadmill, followed by weight training, and was out the door by 8 o'clock to get to work. Mark was in decent shape for his age, though he'd been dealing with stress from work and some family issues. He'd mentioned to Marcus that his doctor had recommended exercise to help manage his blood pressure, and Marcus had helped him develop a sustainable routine. That Tuesday morning started like any other. Mark arrived on time, chatted briefly with Marcus about the previous night's baseball game, and headed to his usual treadmill. The gym was moderately busy, maybe 8 other people scattered around the equipment. Marcus was helping a new member learn proper form on the bench press when he heard the sound that every gym owner dreads: someone falling hard. Mark had collapsed on the treadmill, which was still running. He'd fallen backward, hit his head on the floor, and was completely unconscious. The treadmill belt continued moving, and other members were standing around, unsure what to do. Marcus was beside Mark within seconds. His demeanor immediately changed. Gone was the friendly gym owner, replaced by someone with absolute authority and clinical focus. Everyone stepped back. "Give me room," Marcus commanded, his voice carrying the kind of authority that made people automatically obey. He quickly assessed Mark's condition: unconscious, no pulse, not breathing. Cardiac arrest. He pointed to a member near the front desk. "Call 911. Tell them we have a cardiac arrest. Male, 52 years old, unconscious, no pulse." He pointed to another member. "Go outside and wait for the ambulance. Guide them in here immediately." Marcus's voice was calm but absolute. This wasn't a gym owner hoping everything would be okay. This was someone who had dealt with life and death emergencies before. What happened next would be talked about for years by everyone who witnessed it. Marcus positioned Mark properly and began CPR, but not the basic CPR taught in civilian first aid classes. His technique was flawless: proper hand placement, perfect compression depth and rate, advanced airway management techniques that most EMTs would recognize but couldn't replicate. He worked systematically, counting compressions, monitoring for signs of circulation, adjusting his technique based on responses most people wouldn't even notice. "Someone time this," he called out while continuing compressions. "I need to know exact elapsed time from when he collapsed." Between compression cycles, Marcus was checking Mark's pupils, feeling for pulse points, and monitoring skin color changes. assessments that required medical training far beyond basic first aid. When Mark began showing signs of cardiac activity after about 4 minutes, Marcus didn't stop. He continued monitoring, adjusting his approach, maintaining the level of care until professional help arrived. When the paramedics arrived, they found a scene that surprised them. Instead of panicked bystanders and basic first aid, they found Marcus maintaining professional-level care with the confidence of someone who knew exactly what he was doing. "What's the status?" the lead paramedic asked Marcus. 52-year-old male, witnessed cardiac arrest. Down approximately 8 minutes. Initiated CPR immediately. Restored spontaneous circulation at 4 minutes. Pulse is weak but steady. Respirations are shallow. No obvious trauma beyond minor head impact from fall. The paramedic looked at Marcus with new respect. That wasn't how gym owners typically communicated medical information. "You medical?" "I have some training," Marcus replied, stepping back to let the professionals take over. As the paramedics worked, Marcus provided details about Mark's medical history that he'd gathered from previous conversations, potential contributing factors, and a timeline that was precise to the minute. After Mark was transported to the hospital, other gym members gathered around Marcus, full of questions and admiration. "Marcus, where did you learn to do that? That wasn't normal CPR. That was like professional level. Are you a doctor?" Marcus deflected most questions politely. "Just some first aid training. Anyone can learn CPR." But Sarah Martinez, a nurse who'd been working out when the incident occurred, pulled Marcus aside. "That wasn't first aid training," she said quietly. "That was advanced life support. Combat medic level. Where did you really learn that?" Marcus looked at her for a moment, recognizing that she knew the difference between civilian and military medical training. "Different time, different place," he said. Later that afternoon, Marcus visited Mark at the hospital. Mark was stable, awake, and tremendously grateful. "The doctors said you saved my life," Mark told him. "They said if you hadn't done exactly what you did, I wouldn't have made it. Just glad you're okay." But Marcus, the cardiologist, said the CPR technique you used was military grade. He said most EMTs couldn't have done what you did. Mark's wife, who had arrived at the hospital earlier, joined the conversation. "We want to know who we're really thanking. What's your background?" Marcus sat quietly for a moment, then made a decision. "Army. Combat medic. 22 years." The room fell silent. Mark and his wife looked at Marcus with new understanding. "How many people have you saved?" Mark's wife asked. "I stopped counting a long time ago." Over the next hour, Marcus shared parts of his story that he'd never told anyone in Phoenix. Army medic, multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. Advanced training in battlefield medicine, trauma surgery, emergency procedures under combat conditions. Eventually promoted to first sergeant, responsible for training other medics and managing medical operations for entire units. "The thing about combat medicine," Marcus explained, "is that you don't have the luxury of hospitals and equipment. You learn to save lives with whatever you have under the worst possible conditions." So today was easy for you. Today was controlled environment, no incoming fire, and help was only 12 minutes away. Compared to what I used to deal with, today was manageable. Mark's perspective on his gym owner completely changed. "Why didn't you ever mention this?" "Because it's not relevant to running a gym. I came back, wanted a different life. Fitness and health felt like a natural extension of the medical field, but without the trauma." News of Marcus's life-saving intervention spread through the gym community and beyond. Local news picked up the story. Gym owner saves member's life with military medical training. But Marcus was uncomfortable with the attention. He'd opened the gym specifically to build a quiet, civilian life away from his military past. The story attracted new members, many of them veterans who recognized Marcus's background and appreciated training in an environment run by someone who understood military discipline and values. It also attracted people who were simply impressed by Marcus's character and wanted to train somewhere that clearly had exceptional safety standards. Dr. Susan Kelly, the cardiologist who had treated Mark, contacted Marcus with a request. I'd like you to consider teaching CPR classes at the hospital. What you did was textbook, advanced life support, and we need more people with that level of skill in the community. Marcus was hesitant. Teaching CPR would require revealing more about his background and expertise. I'm not a certified instructor. You could be. Your practical experience exceeds most instructors' qualifications. And honestly, after what happened with Mark, I think you have a responsibility to share those skills. Dr. Kelly's argument was compelling. Marcus had knowledge that could save lives, and keeping it to himself might mean other people wouldn't get the help they needed in emergencies. Marcus eventually agreed to teach monthly CPR and first aid classes at Ironwell Gym. The classes combined standard civilian techniques with military-derived methods that were more effective in high-stress situations. The biggest difference between civilian and military medical training, Marcus would tell his students, is that we train for worst-case scenarios. When you can save someone's life under combat conditions, a gym emergency becomes manageable. His classes became popular not just with gym members, but with local businesses, schools, and community organizations. Marcus had a teaching style that was calm, thorough, and inspiring. Students learned not just the mechanics of CPR, but the mindset needed to perform effectively under pressure. 6 months after Mark's cardiac arrest, Marcus faced another medical emergency at the gym. A member suffered a severe laceration from a dropped weight, and Marcus's trauma care training proved invaluable again. A year later, he helped a member who was having an allergic reaction, recognizing the symptoms and providing treatment that prevented a potentially fatal situation. Each incident reinforced the community's appreciation for Marcus's presence and skills. But more importantly, it reminded Marcus that his military training remained relevant and valuable in civilian life. Marcus's story attracted other veteran medics to his gym and CPR classes. They formed an informal network of former military medical personnel who supported each other and shared advanced techniques with the civilian community. There are more of us than people realize, one former Air Force medic told Marcus. We're scattered across civilian careers, but we still have these skills. Maybe we should be using them. Marcus's gym became an unofficial gathering place for veterans with medical backgrounds, and they began coordinating with local emergency services to provide advanced first aid support at community events. 2 years after Mark's cardiac arrest, Marcus received a Community Service Award from the Mayor of Phoenix. The citation read, "For exceptional service to community health and safety, and for demonstrating that heroes come in many forms." Marcus accepted the award, but used his speech to highlight the broader issue. There are veterans throughout this community with specialized skills that could benefit everyone. We just need to create opportunities for them to use those skills. His comments led to the development of a citywide program connecting veterans with relevant expertise to community safety initiatives. Mark made a full recovery and continued working out at Ironwell. His relationship with Marcus evolved from customer business owner to genuine friendship based on mutual respect and shared experience. "You gave me a second chance at life," Mark told Marcus on the 2nd anniversary of his cardiac arrest. "Not just by saving me, but by showing me what real service looks like." Mark became an advocate for CPR training and helped Marcus promote the classes throughout the community. "Everyone should know what I know now," Mark said during a local TV interview. "There are people like Marcus all around us, veterans with incredible skills who are quietly serving in ways we don't recognize. We need to pay attention." Marcus's approach to both fitness and emergency response was shaped by his military experience, but adapted for civilian life. "In the Army, we train for mission success," he explained to a group of new CPR students. "In civilian life, the mission is different, but the commitment to excellence is the same." What's the civilian mission? Taking care of each other. Being ready when someone needs help. Creating communities where people look out for one another. Marcus had found a way to continue his military service in civilian form, not through formal programs or organizations, but through daily readiness to help when needed. 5 years after opening Ironwell, Marcus began mentoring young people interested in military or medical careers. His gym became an unofficial pre-training center where future soldiers, EMTs, and medical professionals could learn from someone who had real-world experience. Physical fitness is just the foundation, Marcus would tell them. The real training is mental, learning to stay calm under pressure, to think clearly when others panic, to put someone else's needs before your own. His mentoring extended beyond fitness to include leadership principles, emergency response, and the kind of character development that military service demands. Marcus continued running Iron Will Gym, but his role had expanded far beyond fitness instruction. He'd become a community resource for emergency response, a mentor for veterans transitioning to civilian careers, and an example of how military skills could be adapted to serve civilian communities. The gym's walls eventually displayed photos from CPR graduations, community service projects, and local emergency response training, evidence of how one veteran's decision to share his skills had created ripple effects throughout the community. But Marcus remained humble about his role. "I'm just a gym owner who happened to have some useful training." The real heroes are the people who step up to help when they see someone in some veterans return from service and struggle to find purpose in civilian life. Others, like Marcus Webb, discover that the skills they developed in military service have profound value in their new communities. For 8 years, Marcus ran a successful gym, building relationships and helping people achieve their fitness goals. But when Mark Thompson collapsed from cardiac arrest, Marcus revealed that he was more than a business owner. He was a highly trained combat medic whose skills remained sharp and immediately available. The 12 minutes between Mark's collapse and the ambulance's arrival demonstrated something important. Veterans don't stop serving when they leave the military. They continue serving in different uniforms, using different skills, but with the same commitment to protecting and helping others. Marcus's story spread because it reminded people that extraordinary capabilities often hide behind ordinary appearances. The friendly gym owner, the helpful neighbor, the quiet community member, any of them might be former military personnel with skills that could save your life. Have you ever discovered that someone in your community had a background that completely changed how you saw them? Someone whose hidden expertise became apparent only in a moment of crisis? Tell us their story in the comments. Because at Human Stories, we believe that veterans continue serving long after they hang up their uniforms, and they deserve recognition for the ways they keep us safe every single day. Subscribe if stories like this matter to you. Because every community has heroes like Marcus Webb, former military personnel who quietly use their training to protect and serve in ways that rarely make headlines but often save lives.